Peace and blessings. What's good, everybody? What's good? Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Speaking with Ajani Bakari Talk Show. I'm your host, Ajani Bakari, as I go live every Monday night for you guys to talk about three hot topics. Tonight's topics, we're going to discuss the white supremacists in Buffalo who went on a shooting rampage at a supermarket in a black neighborhood. We're going to discuss that. And then we're going to also discuss Nick Saban making comments on historically black colleges and universities about the way they've been recruiting top recruits recently, and his insensitive comments that got him into some controversy this past week. And then we also going to discuss, which is the personal topic, is why is it so hard to fight racism? So we're going to get into racism today. Today's is the show for it. All the topics fall right in line with it. It's just the way it goes. So, again, the topics are, we're going to discuss the Buffalo shooting, and we're going to pay respects to those that lost their lives. And we also going to discuss, Nick Saban and him going up against, other HBCUs and recruiting issues that's going on with college. And then we're going to discuss, why is it so hard to fight racism? Why is racism still an issue in America, issue in the world? These are topics that I've always loved to discuss, and one of the reasons why I brought my show up, so that we can talk about things like this and really get it out in the air. So we're going to get on my Facebook, we're going to get on my IG, we're going to get with some folks, and we're going to try to have a good conversation today about these topics. I'm going to get on those platforms shortly here. I usually try to have a topic for you guys for my YouTube followers and subscribers. Right now, I don't really have too much for you, as it's been a real busy week for me. A lot of things going on, but I'm still here for you, and I got some great topics, and we're going to discuss that. So let's get to it. Once we get a chance to get everybody in, and from all the different platforms. So thank you again for joining me, because I love doing this. This is the 26th show. We keep going, and if anybody got a chance to watch the show last week, we talked about a lot of different things. We talked about Joe Biden. We talked about Young Thug. We talked about, black men being held accountable. And, I felt that this week, we going to really get into some real good stuff, because I got some energy in me to speak about the topics. And I hope to give you guys some good insight on why racism is what it is, and why it's so difficult to handle or to deal with as far as fighting it or eradicating it. But we'll get to that, and we're going to get to that very shortly. So to give me some time, and we'll get to that. Thank you again, like I said, for joining me. I appreciate everybody's love and support. Yeah, I'm trying to get some folks on my IG and let everybody know on my Facebook that I'm going live. Show is live. It's been a crazy week for me. I've been so busy. Life calls, always and forever. But I wanted to try to, I really wanted to discuss something pertaining towards something that I found out the other day, but I didn't have too much information, which is why I didn't want to talk about it. But there was the World Health Organization supposed to be trying to pass some kind of law or creed that would remove certain sovereignties from over 190 nations, which include the United States of America, regarding around health and pandemics and lockdowns and things of that nature, and health emergencies, global emergencies. I don't know what happened to that. That's why I didn't want to bring that topic up, because I didn't really get a chance to get too much information on it. And you guys know me, I don't want to speak on stuff I am not too well versed on. I like to speak on things that I have some kind of idea about, So, but I did think about, how they were talking about, again, the distractions, because they say we are distracted by things, and they were talking about the Johnny Depp trials, and I forgot what's the other hot news that they got folks occupied thinking about. But I thought about how there's so much stuff going on in the world, and there's so much information out there for people. Sometimes we don't know how to grasp it and understand the world, man. I'm just starting to see how much bigger and bigger the world is, man. The world is just continually just getting bigger in my eyes, because social media really just allows me to do that. I really explore my social media accounts. I try to dabble into seeing what I can get more of, as far as my social media experience. And it doesn't stop, man. It doesn't stop. The conversations that I read and hear about on social media, and the things that I come across my timeline, like I said, coming across something like that, thinking about, well, how can the World Health Organization control a government, or how can an outside entity control the United States as a more authoritative figure than the United States government? I have to still look into that, but we definitely have to get our, we definitely have to get our minds in the right place when we want to get this type of information. Because if you're not in the right place, man, you're never going to get the information correctly. So I think that's I think that's something that people have to really think about, because a lot of the stuff that I'm going through right now, as far as doing this show and doing my other podcast, is providing the right information and finding out how sometimes information is not acceptable. A lot of people do not want to hear certain things. They don't want to be able to be exposed to certain information. It really disturbs their peace. And and I just like to just bring up good stuff, man, good topics, man. I just want to make sure I keep giving you guys good information, and that's definitely my main focus. Oh, what's good, brother? No matter what the underlines are, racism will always be prevalent across the globe. Yeah, we're gonna definitely talk about racism, man, because that's something. You thought I was passionate about LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Wait till y'all hear me on this one here, because tonight I'm definitely gonna give you guys a good, you know, a good insight of what racism really, really is. A lot of people really don't understand racism, and it's not your fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's how we're taught about racism. You know what I'm saying? It's how racism is displayed in the history books, and in television and movies, and it's you really, really have to. That's why I always tell people, you really have to open your mind to information. You don't have to accept everything that comes across your view, but you have to definitely open your mind to see things, and it helps you see stuff. And tonight I hope I can break some stuff down, because racism is really, really live and well. It hasn't really broken down or gone anywhere, and we're going to discuss that. It's obvious, right? It's obvious that racism still is a problem, and there's still only one form of racism, which we will discuss. Definitely, brother. I'm with you there, brother. It's hard for us, man, especially for Black men. We have to go through so much just to be accepted as decent, viable, productive members of our society. And most people do not believe we have anything productive to bring to the society that we live in. It's really sad. And it's not until, you have to somehow sugarcoat your appearance or sugarcoat yourself to someone for them to say, oh, that's a decent human being. Yeah, I like that guy. So, but we'll get to all of that, and we're definitely gonna do that. Let me log into my Facebook so we can get the show going, and then log into my IG. All right, so we good here. I got my Facebook going. And it says that I'm live on IG. All right. Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome to Speaking with Ajani Bakari. I'm your host, Ajani Bakari. We just kicking in live on my IG and also on my Facebook. We are live on my YouTube every Monday night. I come with y'all and I give y'all a great show. Tonight's topics, we're going to discuss the Buffalo shooting. We're going to talk about the white supremacists that went into a Buffalo supermarket. All the details that I have, I'll be able to provide for you. We're also going to discuss Nick Saban versus the HBCUs. Nick Saban made some controversial comments over the week about recruiting top athletes and how the historical black colleges and universities are gaining more top recruits than ever. And he made a very controversial comment. And then we're going to discuss why it's difficult to fight racism. So these are the three topics we're going to have tonight. Thank you for joining me. As you know, we're going to get into some real deep stuff. If anybody know about me, racism is my number one topic that I love to discuss. And I'll discuss this with everything I got. And I'm going to definitely speak on it with true ferocity. I am not playing with these people today because it's not time to play with people that do what this, what this fucking asshole did the other day. And we got people, you got black folks afraid, man. I hear people saying now we can't go to the supermarkets. Like we literally got to be afraid of, and we should have always known that. This is nothing new, my man. This is nothing new. So let me say what's up to all my IG folks. Peace and blessings. Thanks for joining me. Let's go Heat. That's right, baby. Tonight, again, the Heat play tonight. So, let's go Heat. But definitely, peace and blessings. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me. Aha. See, look, see, look, shoot back. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. You're going to talk about that. We definitely going to get to that. So we'll let the Facebook folks come in. I see my IG folks. Thanks again, y'all. As we keep going. Another Monday night, another great show. So we're going to get going right here shortly. Let me just make sure I send my last little notifications to everybody. And then we can get this popping. Ooh. Yeah, tonight's game should be good. Oh, Marcus Smart is out for game 4. Oh, my God. Yeah, baby. Biscayne in June. If anybody don't know what that means that's where and when we have our championship parade in Miami for the Heat. So it's going to be this year. It's going to be on Biscayne Boulevard, and it's going to be in June. All right, y'all? But anyways, so peace, Sakma say what's good. Organic Trio, thank you for joining. Jazzy, peace and love. Ashley, thank you for showing up. All right, folks, let's get right to it. Tonight's show, last weekend, we had a tragedy in America where a white supremacist, a white man, went into a supermarket in a black neighborhood in Buffalo and shot up. I think he killed 10 people and injured 13, if I'm correct. Now, this man did a premeditated act because this is something that he had planned out for years. He talked about it, and what made it worse is that he actually recorded it live on social media, and I got access to the video. It's definitely something hard to watch, but basically, a lot of people are hurt, which is understandable. A lot of people are shocked and surprised. They have this is an unspeakable manner. This man went into a store and killed like grandmas, man, and aunties, and people that were just going to the store to get food for their family and go back home, and he felt that he had to go do this. Now this is crazy. He shows up to a supermarket after a 4-hour drive. You drive 4 hours, and then within them 4 hours, no subconscious anything comes into his mind to tell him, any subconsciously or consciously, like, bro, you shouldn't do this, right? And this is why I wanted to bring up this topic, and why we're going to talk about racism and why we have issues like this in America is because, you have white males who feel threatened, and they feel threatened because they don't have a position of power. So the only way they can react and to show power is to actually go against the marginalized group that they feel and they create an idea that what they call is the replacement theory. This is the new thing that white supremacists are doing. They call it the replacement theory. They're scared that white people are going to be replaced in America by brown people, whether it be Hispanics, whether it's the Asians, or whether it's black people. Now, if it's black people, forget about it. They're going to have a conniption. If it's Hispanic, if it's the Asian, but for black folk, it's a problem. Because we see these white supremacists don't go into Hispanic neighborhoods pulling these acts. They don't go into the Asian communities and pulling these acts. They find a way to let out their aggression amongst black people. And they do it all the time. I mean, we had the white boy that went inside the church and sat there and prayed with black people and said to himself, I'm still going to shoot and kill everyone in this place, and shot 9 people and killed them. And they arrest these people without any incident. These guys don't get beat up. They don't get their arm twisted up, broken down, nothing at all. They get arrested like it's nothing. And the reason they get arrested is because, like I tell people all the time, because the police themselves are white supremacists. There are white supremacists in every police department in America. Officially true, traditional white supremacists like any other white supremacist. In every police department in America, you have a white supremacist, if not groups of them, and they hang out with one another and they talk about things like this. They know this. The white man knows he can go into a supermarket, shoot and kill innocent people without any recourse physically to him. He's already a loner. This white boy has no friends. He has no loved ones. No one can. This guy spends most of his time jerking off, thinking about the most silliest, dumbest white people shit you could think about. And this is why he was able to plan this out without anybody having any suspicion of what this young man was trying to go do. He had ideas to go to the supermarket, to the malls. He was going to go to a shopping center. But he decided a supermarket in Buffalo. And he wanted to go kill black people, and he wrote stuff on his gun and everything. He was premeditated, and he's going to be praised by white supremacists for this. This is what people don't understand about white supremacy, racism, is that there's only one form of racism, and it's white supremacy. That's the only form of racism that ever existed. There is no other form of racism. Okay, we talked about this on my show before. White supremacy is the ideology that white philosophy, lifestyle, values, and principles are the dominant factor in the world and in social order. That's it. If we have to think and act and demonstrate ourselves in a way a European wants us to do such. There is no other way. That is why white supremacy exists and still exists, because they dominate the actual social order. And they can dictate to you because they own the newspapers, they own the movies and the televisions, entertainment. So everything that we are getting and feeding to us are being fed to us by them. They're giving us the illusion. We talked about this with The Secret, what your mind is able to conceive and perceive. They're able to channel that, and they're able to lock us in and not really get us to understand the actual game that we're playing. A lot of us think we're playing the game of checkers, where you get to the other side of the board, you can be crowned king. No, my man, we are playing chess. And no matter how much the pawn gets to the other side, it doesn't change. You're still a pawn. And these people are vicious with their ways, man. This kid is going to sit in jail for the rest of his life, but it doesn't matter. He's already a loner. And he already accomplished what he wanted to accomplish, which was putting his race first. And y'all don't get it, because to y'all, it's like my man said here, shoot back. It's not about shooting back. They know who to go after, because they didn't go to the black neighborhoods where there's brothers shooting and killing one another every night. They went to a supermarket. They go to churches. This is what they do. They bomb churches. You know what I'm saying? They blow up houses. They don't go after the real black people that will shoot back. It's funny how black men get killed all the time that are unarmed, but none of these white cops want to go work and be in the Chicago the police department and go fuck with some brothers that are out here killing each other every night in Chicago. They are pussy. They are sissy, like Dr. Khaled would say. These people are punks. They're not real Rambos. They're not Terminators. No matter how much they want to act like it, they're not. They know exactly what they're doing. This is what power gives you. This is the power that they possess. So a young, 18-year-old white male can feel enough in his convictions to go out there and murder mass people for the cause of nothing. Because if you ask them what's really your issue, what's really your beef, it's black people complaining about reparations because we want reparations for what slavery meant. Like it's the idea that his life isn't what he wants it to be because he feels he's entitled to what white America is supposed to have, but the reason he doesn't have it is because of black people. So this is why he feels he needs to take out his anger on black people and put black people in their place. This is what white supremacy racism is. And this is why we have to deal with it in every aspect of our lives as people of color or as black folk, people of African descent. We have to deal with this shit no matter where we go because they control and they basically have every government and every sovereign nation under their will and power. They have dominated the globe for the last 200-300 years easily, no problem, no recourse, no issues. So much so they went to 2 world wars by themselves. But this white man, you know, is definitely going to be he's going to be the new one for them. They're going to always talk about him. This is what they do. Y'all don't understand how much these white people get along and fuck with one another, man. Y'all, you know, I'm from Miami and I tell people all the time, y'all don't know white America because there's no white America in Miami. There's no white America in Broward County. I don't care how many of y'all talk about Hollywood or y'all want to talk about Weston and stuff. These are not white people. These are white people that have been assimilated around colored people. You want to really see white people? Go to Port St. Lucie. Go to Ocala. Go to Tallahassee. You hear me? Go to Pensacola. Those parts of Florida. Go to Fort Myers, just on the other side of South Florida. You're going to see real white people. You see what I'm saying? Go to Alabama, go to Georgia, go to Louisiana, go to Arkansas, go to Michigan, go to Virginia. These is white America. These are the white folks that talk with one another. They never seen black people a day in their life other on television. You know what I'm saying? This is what we have when we talk. This is the type of white people that will go into a supermarket and kill random black people for the cause of his race. They exist. They're all over the place. They have pamphlets. They recruit. It's always going to be something with them. Let me see what's good here. I see y'all talking. Peace, brother Hassan. What's good? Well, let me see what y'all talking about. Yeah, they are white American murderers. I mean, it's a part of their history. It's almost to the fact that it's a part of their DNA. Okay, we talked about this before with them with their nature and water. They love hunting. They love killing. Killing is an actual survival tool for them. Other people didn't need killing to survive. Remember, we talked about this. We talked about how their environment forced them to be rough, forced them to be aggressive. So to them, killing was an automatic instant, not only show of survival, but of power. That's why they still hunt to this day when they don't even have to hunt. They have an obsession with killing. They have an obsession with murder. They're associated with sex. If you watch any one of their horror movies, they always associate sex and blood and murder. It's always the people having sex that are the ones that are being slaughtered. You feel me? If you watch any one of their blood massacres, that's what it's always about. You feel me? So these people, even the superhero theory, the Terminator, the Rambos and all that, this is all to get eventually to get the girl at the end. I'm going to murder and massacre 30,000 people in the movie, and then I'm going to run off with the girl at the end. This is their culture. This is their society. We're always going to have to deal with that. It's the same way that they feel about us. They know that there is always going to be revolutionary black folks. There's always going to be black folks that are going to be in tune with their heritage because it's in our DNA. And it's in their DNA to get aggressive. They just can't help themselves. You cannot tell a white person, yo, you can't do that. They'll look at you like you're crazy. And this is what we go through. So now we have to say, oh, this kid had a mental problem. No, he didn't have no mental problems, man. He's just a white boy. And he felt he had the power to go ahead and put himself in a position to tell other people how to live. And he's gonna threaten black people. This is what he did for the next. This is a traumatic experience for black people. The people who saw their family members get killed on live social media is traumatized forever. The people of that community is traumatized forever. Black folks who witnessed that in their real life and then witness that now, again, it's rehashing some traumatic experiences that we go through. They know this. It doesn't end with us. It's always something. They do this continually after, and what they do is they isolate it to one individual instead of making it a group thing. When it comes to we talked about Young Thug being arrested. All rappers are thugs. You see what I'm saying? All rappers are criminals because of one Young Thug and one idiot. We're not going to talk about the positive MCs or the positive rappers making positive music. We're just going to say all rappers are like that. But then when we find one white boy who wants to go in there and kill a bunch of people, it's just that white male. No. It's white males in plural. We have to watch out. I don't trust white males. I don't trust them. Yeah, I already told you I don't trust white females on my social media. So you can't trust these people because you don't know where their thought process is. They sit in isolation in their homes and they listen to the most craziest people and they believe what they want to believe and they're going to react to it. It's one thing to believe what you want to believe in, but they fucking react and they actually do things to change the way we have to live our life as Black people. So now I have to worry about consoling people around me and telling them it's okay to go to the grocery store. I see people sending messages now that, there's other white supremacists planning on doing this. And we all got to be careful. And this is why we have to have a community. We talked about this before. We have to have a fucking community because that's the way you protect us. You're not going to protect us by shooting back. You're going back into a random white neighborhood shooting some white people. That ain't going to get us nowhere. But if we have a community, they can't come get us. That's why they don't go into Hispanic communities because it's a community. To be a part of that community or to enter the Hispanic community, you have to be Hispanic. To enter the Asian community and be a part of that community or to even associate yourself with them, you have to be Asian. If you walk in their community, if I go to Little Havana right now, they're going to ask, what am I doing there? You don't belong here. Why are you here? Black folks need to start doing that. We need to start shutting down our communities. We need to start shutting down our culture. We've talked about this. We have to do this to protect ourselves because there's too many people who want to harm us. Straight up and down, bro. You feel me? Peace, Kimberly. Come to Clewiston, Florida. Look, come to Clewiston, Florida. I would get anyone, if you don't live in if you don't live in a big metropolis area like Miami, Chicago, New York, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Los Angeles, these are multi-racial communities. So the white people in those communities are a little bit more acceptable to seeing or understanding that they're going to run across and deal with people of other ethnicities. So they're more comfortable that you'll run across less of those people, even though we still have racism in those countries, because places like Boston, all these places, racism everywhere. But the real America that I'm talking about, where you get a white man like this that would drive 4 hours to go kill people, is what we're talking about. There's over 250 million white Americans in this country, and they still feel threatened that their life is going to be taken, or we're going to somehow over replace them. For one, they're not having enough babies. That we already, that's, you don't even want to get there. What's good, Shay? Let me see what y'all talking about over here. They are terrorists. That's right. That's right, mask off. They are fucking terrorists. You say shooting back should be a part of the agenda, but shoot back what? We're going to shoot back aimlessly? You want to be a soldier, you have to know how to be a soldier. There's certain things that go in line to being a soldier. This white man didn't just come up with this plan on his own. He has predecessors and people before him that he's following and guidelines that, like I tell you, these guys have pamphlets, man. They pass out pamphlets to one another. They have meetings all the time, man. Those bonfires and stuff like that. Davie, you go to Davie, Florida, where I'm from around here, they still have bonfires. They still have KKK meetings. These people still gather around one another. They still tell little nigger jokes. It's a part of American society. White America understands that about Black America, but Black Americans don't understand that about white America. White America will always stay white. They will always fight to stay white. No matter how much you think Martin Luther King created the civil rights movement, how much you believe that the 90s represented an era where Black prosperity was the top of all top things. At the end of the day, what you have to understand is these people believe in themselves. They believe in their culture. They believe in their heritage. They believe in their foundation. And we are not going to be able to break that by telling them, let's all assimilate and love one another. They don't care about that. They do not. They want what belongs to them. And we are the reasons why they can't have it. You see what I'm saying? And let's just move on to the Nick Saban thing. because all this falls right into line, right? Because Nick Saban goes out on national television. The Turner Diaries is a must read. All right, Brother Hassan says the Turner Diaries is a must read, folks. The Turner Diaries. I believe that's Nat Turner. I appreciate that. But let's move on because we want to talk. We're still talking racism, right? Because we like we saying about white people. Nick Saban went out on I don't know where he was at, but he was speaking at a certain event, and he got upset. In the middle of that, he talked about how these black colleges are now snatching up the top recruits by offering them NIL recruitment treatment, which is basically letting players get their image and likeness. There's a new rule now that allows players to get paid for their image and likeness. So, coaches like Deion Sanders understands how to brand himself. Basically, is using that as saying, hey, you could come and join us over here. Not only will you learn football to be great and you'll help a black historic college, but you'll also be able to brand yourself and market yourself and make money starting off as a college player before you even get to the pros. And other coaches are using that and doing that to recruit players. So now he said something negative about these coaches using these things and saying how they're paying players off. Now, mind you, he's in Alabama and they've been paying fucking players off forever. It's fucking Alabama. You don't get fucking some black kid from the middle of Liberty City to go move to fucking Alabama in the woods and the sticks of Alabama to go play football because he wants to go play for Alabama University. They are paying these people to go to these schools, but he had to point out the black colleges. He had to go after the black head coach like Deion. He had to go after Texas A&M, another black historical college. He had to go after these schools because it's a part of white people feeling they are entitled to this. We've had these kids. Why are these people able to take our kids from us? He's upset now. He's not in a position of power anymore. So now he's begging his boosters and his alumni, other rich white racist motherfuckers, to help him continually gather up these young black boys so that these other black historical colleges can't have them. Just for his own personal being. Mind you, he still has a great recruiting class, but he don't care. He's upset that he's being outbeat by a black coach like Deion Sanders or by a university that's basically a black university. This is how white people think when it comes to this. And what people don't understand is that it doesn't matter how many white people you have as your friend or how many white people that are nice to you or cool with you, because we're gonna talk about why racism is so hard to fight. Racism is not an emotion. Okay? There were slave masters that loved their slaves, so much so they would fire or personally whoop the ass of an overseer that did too much harm to one of their slaves. Or they would have such an attachment to the slave that the slave would be able to live with them forever. And it's not an emotion. Racism is a system of power, point simple and plain. So when you have a head coach like Nick Saban, he's in a system of power. He's been the most dominant head coach in college football for the past 10 years. He's been able to get recruiting class after recruiting class after recruiting class after recruiting class. And now he sees a threat in his power. So now he attacks the people who he feels he's threatened by. And it's usually black people, because he's not going to truly attack the other universities. He's not going to go after the other SEC schools that are white schools that are also going to do the same thing, using the likeness and image rule to get more players to come to their school. But he felt that he had to do that because of the people he was talking to. Like I told you, they know who they're dealing with. He knew what would get those white people to spend money. Oh, we got to beat these black people. We can't have these. And if we let them grab all the black players, what are we going to have? That's what he was saying. That was the signal he was sending to his white supremacist boosters and alum so that they could spend more money and help him continually rack up black athletes so he can yell at them and treat them like shit because he's a college head football coach. Because when he tried that shit with the Dolphins, he lost his fucking job. Or he had to quit because he almost got his ass fucking knocked out. Too many players was like, you can't talk to me like this. I'm a grown-ass motherfucking man. So this is what racism is. It's about power. And when you take away power from white people, they get angry and they react. There's a difference. When you do something to black folks, we get angry and we pray. Okay? White people get angry and react. They are one of the best reacting people in history. Their reaction is on point, straight up and down. They do not play. So until these white males, until we can find a way to gain community control and access of our culture, our heritage, our history, our posterity, everything, we will always fall victim to white supremacy / racism. Until we realize one person's individual success is not everyone's success, we will always fall victim to white supremacy racism. The only success we're ever going to have is as a people, because this is a team sport that racism is. Okay, now we're going to dabble in right to why racism is hard to fight, because Black people are the only people in America that refuse to be racist. We are the only ones who choose to say, well, let's keep fighting racism instead of use racism to benefit us. All other heritage and cultures use racism to benefit their group as a group. They don't care about individuals. They care about themselves as a group. That's how they're able to grow. If there is an individual that is prosperous and doing great, that individual is held responsible, accountable, and is told he must or she must give back to the community. This is what Black people don't have. This is what we refuse to do. We continue to keep talking about how individuals are doing great. We talk about Jay-Z. We talk about Kanye. We talk about Oprah Winfrey. Again, we're going to always talk about entertainers too, because we're never going to mention any real prominent Black people that are billionaires or that are really successful, that are either, engineers or scientists or even politicians to some degree. Obama's, I think, is worth $1 billion, supposed to be somewhere near that. But we all know Obama doesn't do shit for Black people. You see what I'm saying? We don't have an identity that can keep us together enough. We used to have it. That's why they created integration. That's why they did that. That's why the civil rights movement was there, because it was keeping Black people together, and they cannot stop Black people from rioting. If you go throughout the 60s, Black people were rioting throughout the 60s because we were upset, we were fed up. It was a done deal. Then they created the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King to keep us out of the idea that we have to fight every fucking day of our lives, man. We got to fight every day of our lives. I know it for a fact. I've been fighting for the last 20 years of my life just to prove to people that I'm worthy of a job, that I'm worthy enough of trusting to do certain shit, just simple shit. I mean, the most simplest shit. I get people, I have to continually reassure them of my greatness or my ability to do stuff. It's not because of anything but my appearance and the fact that I'm super intelligent, on top of the fact I look like a Rasta. They've never seen that before. It's hard for people to fathom that. They cannot trust it. I go through it every day of my life. I'm light skinned. So I can only imagine what the brothers go through that are dark skinned, that are just trying to live their life every day. But we can't fight racism until we actually become racist. That is the actual formula to fighting racism. Building a Black community, holding the Black community accountable, building a wall and a barrier for the community. That way we ain't got to shoot back, because they can't shoot us. They can't come in here. They can't be here. You can't come into the Black community looking for drugs, because we're not going to allow you to come in here looking for drugs. You want drugs? Go to the white neighborhoods. Y'all the ones who got it in the first place. We have to start doing things like that. I believe the brother Charles White said something best. We ain't hear nan rapper talk shit about this Buffalo situation. Not one rapper came out of his mouth yet and said, man, we need to go get that. We need to go find his family. We need to go find his auntie, his grandma house. All this shit that these rappers be talking about in each other's songs. Y'all ready to go kill the next man grandma, but y'all ain't ready to kill this white man grandma, because you already know shooting back what happens when you do that. When you go into a white neighborhood shooting white people, you know all those white people are going to come together. That's the barrier they built. They built the barrier. That's why we don't go into the neighborhoods killing them, because they've built a barrier. We know if we go do that, the response will be tremendously, and it will be swift, quick, fast. They're not playing with us. We will have a whole white mob, and they will have the media to back them and say, well, there was a crazy Black man that went into a white neighborhood and just randomly started shooting people. You see what happens to the brothers that they so quote unquote claimed went revolutionary and killed some of them. All right. First of all, we can go back to the great revolutionary George Jackson. All right. His brother went into a courthouse, put a fucking bomb over the neck of the judge, and held them hostage until they released 3 of their brothers. It's called the Soledad trials, because of the way they were treating his brother. His brother got a lifetime sentence, a 1 year to a lifetime sentence for a gas station robbery for $70 fucking bucks. But anyways, what happened to them? They shot up the whole van, everything. What happened in Attica? When the prisoners in Attica took over Attica, they went up in Attica and they gave guns to white supremacists and said, yo, go handle these motherfuckers. And they shot black people indiscriminately. They was like, they were just killing them left and right. This is what they do. What about the kid in Dallas, right? Supposedly he blew himself up, right? Or the veteran cop, the Army veteran cop in Los Angeles that supposedly was running around killing people because of his job and stuff like that. What did they do with him? They killed him, right? All these other white supremacists get found alive and because we don't have a system of power. We don't even have, I don't even believe we have a group of black cops we can go to and say, hey man, can y'all help us? Can y'all protect us? Black cops can't even do that. That's how much powerful white supremacy is. And it's because we don't know what racism is. We keep thinking racism is an emotion. It's not an emotion. It's a system of power. It's a system that allows a group of individuals to have power over the rest of the individuals. So until we begin to understand that, we're never going to fight back racism correctly. We're always going to be victims of racism. Always. And it's never going to stop. It really never stops. Yes, they do. Oh, shit. What's up, Kev? I ain't heard from you in years, my man. Okay, Brother Hassan says you can't enslave a group of people and not have mental health issues for generations. Exactly. And that's another thing that we have. And that's why we can't respond well, right? I talk about this with people all the time. There's three main reactions that people have when you experience a traumatic experience or an event. One, you become shocked, right? One is a shock factor. You freeze. You don't know how to respond. You don't know how to react. You don't know what to do. You become frozen. That's one set of group of individuals. That's what happened to them. Then there's another group of individuals that act like it never even happened. To them, it disappeared. They ignore it. That's a way of getting over the pain and moving past the pain. Okay. And then there's another group of individuals who literally just take it and run with it full speed, and they react to it as they should. Everybody's different in this world. I always say not everybody's going to pick up a gun and go shoot and start a revolution. But again, you don't need to be a soldier to be a part of the revolution. Okay. But we definitely experience some traumatic things as Black people. And it's not just something we experience as an individual. It's generational. It's inherited. The things that my father went through and my grandfather went through and so on and so forth still exist in me. It reverberates in me. If anybody knows about biology, you understand that a woman is in her grandmother's womb. So the experiences that her grandmother experiences is experienced in the grandchild. Okay? Or not even just forget about it. Whatever your grandmother experienced, you also experienced because you were in your mother's womb when she was in her mother's womb. So whatever these women experience throughout their lives and through you are a part of that. That's a part of your DNA. The DNA is an electrical force, it's energy. So it changes with matter that affects it, which is obviously traumatic experiences and going through certain things. So as Brother Hassan said, yes, you cannot enslave a people and not know that they have mental issues and they have a post-traumatic syndrome that has to be addressed. And that's another thing why racism will never be, I'm not saying never will be, but why we can't fight it is because we have yet to address the traumatic experiences and the mental issues that Black Americans and Black folks in the Western Hemisphere deal with, or Black people in the globe in general. Racism changes depending on where we're at because it depends on how many white people you have to deal with or not. But still, to a certain extent, all Black people in the globe deal with the racism in some form where white supremacy is the dominant factor in their life. It's sickening. 14 to 16 white males, greatest threat. That's right. That's right. I mean, it's crazy. Segregation needs to be pushed into man. Well, this is what the Nation of Islam always talked about, separation, right? We need to separate ourselves. But this is what I'm saying about building a Black community. You don't hear Asians and Hispanics talking about, well, we got to separate ourselves. They just do it. I've always thought about things in my life about why this shit happened. And the only reason things happen is because something was done. And until you do something, nothing ever gets done. So it's talking about things is not going to help us get any fucking where. Until we start doing things, all that shit goes out the door. We have to actually do it. So if we want to separate ourselves from these people. We just got to separate ourselves. It's not that hard. It really isn't. But again, the reason we don't do it is because some of us don't believe we're even fighting racism. We believe that because we see poor white people that they fight the same causes and the same issues we fight as black people. No, a poor white person and you have nothing in common. Nothing in common. Even your economic status is not equal when you see a poor white person. I keep telling y'all that. Y'all keep, a lot of y'all don't understand that. That white person is poor because of their laziness. That is the true fact. If you ever meet a poor white person, it's because they never wanted to do anything constructive in their life. Simple and plain. That's it. The society is built for them. There's no reason why any white male can't get it. And I got numbers and anything I can prove. We can go through this for days. I'm telling you, I can do this. Peace, Charlie. What's good, everybody? Thanks for joining me. I see a lot of folks on my IG. We're talking racism. We're talking the Buffalo white supremacists. We're talking white supremacist Nick Saban, and we're talking white supremacy in general and why as black people we have trouble fighting it. Listen, until we become a community, this is how we were able to build pyramids, how we would be able to build the greatest civilizations that ever existed, how we created math, writing, science, astrology, biology, medical field. All this stuff was created because of community, because people felt responsible for their brothers and sisters. And until we do that, we are always going to be victims of white supremacy, racism. Until you can see your fellow brother as equal as you are, okay, your fellow black man, the fellow African man as equal as you are, we're always going to have this problem. Now, every kinfolk, every skin folk and kinfolk is what they say, and that is true. So we definitely have to watch out because they use us against us. So there's going to be plenty of black folks who are not able to be a part of this community, and that's fine because as long as we have the right people, we're gonna have enough people. You know what I'm saying? So we got to learn to do that. I've always told you guys this. We have to build communities. We have to come together. We have to be responsible for each other's children. We have to be responsible for each other's spouses, each other's family members. We have to look out for one another like we are family. We have to actually build that community, that safe space, so that no one could come in and harm us. It's easy to harm an individual when there's no community base. Nobody in Buffalo right now can do anything about what happened to their family members because there's no community. There's no niche where we come together and say, this can't never happen. You know what I'm saying? We have to watch out for one another. We have to pay attention to what's going on around us. We have to protect our women. We have to protect our children. We talk about being high value men and alphas and all this other bullshit. We always talk about this, but we're not protecting our women and we're not protecting our children. We're not protecting our elders. What the fuck do we have as a people? Nothing. So let's stay focused on being proud black people, proud African people, understand where you come from, whether you're a foundational black American, whether you're an immigrant from the Caribbean, or you came from Africa, or you came from, South America, you are still an African. We are all still African, and we have a heritage and a culture that tells us where we should be at and what we should be doing. So it's not like we just got to look back to just Martin Luther King. It's not like we just got to look back to Frederick Douglass and Nat Turner and Crispus Attucks and all this stuff. We can go further back in our history. We can go to Mansa Musa. We can go to the to the Songhai Empire. We can go to the to all the great South African empires in Zimbabwe and Mozambique and all these other great places in Madagascar. Even if we don't even want to touch Northeast Africa, which is Ethiopia and Egypt, we have so much brilliant aspects of our culture and our heritage that we can bring into today's world, and we can crush all these threats that we have going on. We can be ourselves. And then you will start seeing these white boys completely scared of us. They're never going to do that. You see, they won't go into a mosque and do that. They won't go into a Muslim place and do that because they know what will happen to them. They know how those people will respond. So we have to do a better job of being a community, coming together and doing the right thing. And that's basically it, man. Racism is still alive and kicking. Racism is only white supremacy. And until black people become racist ourselves, we will never, ever truly be able to fight white supremacy, racism, and eradicate it. So I say that with all true genuineness and everything in my heart. We have to learn to love black, put black first. And as the great Marcus Garvey stated, race first. We must put our race first. Black African race first. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show tonight. Thanks for everybody who joined. I see so much love from everybody. You can catch this right on my YouTube channel. Once we get done, go to Ajani Bakari on YouTube. But you can also catch me on Facebook as Ajani Bakari. I'm also on IG as speaking_with_Ajani_Bakari. You can find me there. I have all the material for my shows there. I'll see you guys next week. We're going to come up with some more great topics. Stay back, stay black, stay beautiful, stay loved, and stay peaceful. And I'll see y'all soon, man. Stay loved.